Hello, Math 3A. My name is Greg Perkins. I'm the instructor for your online Math 3A class at Hartnell College, and this is for the fall of 2024. So first we're going to take a look at the syllabus here. My contact, please use gperkins@hartnell.edu. It's much better to use this, which is a Gmail account, rather than Canvas. Although you can contact me through Canvas, but as far as attachments and stuff, gperkins@hartnell.edu is best. So I am going to have in-person office hours Monday through Thursday, 10 to 11 a.m. in the Rotarium. And let me just show you a map. So this is Hartnell's main campus in Salinas. Here's the parking structure, the 3-story tall parking structure. And if you walk out of that, you're going to see building N and then what's called the Rotarium. So it's just a big study room. Quite a few people could fit in there. So I'll be there Monday through Thursday, 10 to 11 a.m. Also, you can make an appointment and we can meet on Zoom. So you would just email me and say, hey, do you think we could meet this afternoon on Zoom or something like that. So this being an online class, the homework's going to be done online. So that's going to be done at My Math Lab. So in the second half of the video, I'm going to show you details about how to use My Math Lab, but there will be homework and quizzes done on My Math Lab. So you also need like a graphing calculator. Personally, I use a TI-84. Of course, if you use Desmos or something like that, you could use that as well. But as far as when I show you things on the video, I'm going to be using a TI-84. So there are video lectures that I've created for each section. And so you would watch those and then go ahead and do the homework on My Math Lab. Let me scroll down to the categories. So there's the My Math Lab homework. That's going to be worth 20% of your grade. And with the homework, you do get unlimited attempts. So if you don't get it right, you can try it again. You can try it again until you finally get 100%. There's also going to be quizzes that are going to be based on the homework. In fact, it's like almost the exact same questions as the homework, except they will just change the numbers. Or if one question in the homework has sine, then perhaps on the quiz it has cosine, but they're very similar to the homework. And then as far as the work that I've made up, there's problem sets, which I'll show you in a moment. There's also podcast problems. These are the easiest of all. Basically, I made up 2 examples for every section. You watch the video, you write down what I wrote down to prove you watched the video, and then you get credit for each and every one that you did. And then every week there's also going to be participation quizzes, which are done on Canvas. So one thing I want to point out, you do need this code right here when you go to sign up for the My Math Lab. So you do need that code. And also know that you can, when you go to sign up for My Math Lab and they ask you to pay for it, you can click on temporary access. It literally says temporary access, and that way you could use it for 2 weeks for free. Okay, now let's take a look at, also on here are all of the due dates for the whole semester. So there's going to be something due every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And on Wednesdays will be the participation quizzes on Canvas. On Friday, that's when the homework on My Math Lab is due. And every Monday, there's either going to be the problem set that I made up, and I'll show you those in just a moment, or there would be a quiz on My Math Lab. But basically, I've broken it up so there's a little bit due on Monday, a little bit due on Wednesday, a little bit due on Friday. All right. And also, please note, no late work accepted. It's very easy to fall behind, but if you just do a little bit every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's not that bad at all. Now, let's take a look at Canvas. So when you open our class in Canvas, you will see there's the syllabus, what's due and when is it due. That's just that list of Monday, Wednesday, Friday homework. There's the podcast problems. So these are the problems where you will go to YouTube, Hartnell College Math. I also have links in Canvas to take you there. And you just watch me do these videos, you write down what I write down, and then you'll turn that in, and for every one you do, you get credit. Easiest points ever. And so we do start with chapter 2 because chapter 1 is pre-calculus, so we're starting with the calculus. So with all of these, you can watch the video. All right. So with the video, I do face the camera down so that you can see what I write and also see how I use the calculator. And then after you watch that video, then you would go to the MyMathLab and do the homework. So you can look at it as a PDF. So whatever I wrote down, I then scanned it, and the notes are right here, so you can read along or read the notes by themselves and then watch the video, or watch the video and take notes on your own. Either way. All right, so there's all of the notes, and there's even extra examples for every section, the video, the notes, etc. for every section. Now when it comes time to do the problem sets, not only are the problem sets already in here, so when problem set number 1 is due, so you could either print this out. Personally, being old-fashioned, I like to work with pencil and paper, so personally I would print this out, and then you would show your work in the space provided. If you have something like a tablet and you want to write on it using that, that's perfectly fine too. So basically you just show your work. It's also important that you do not just put the answer, but you do show all of the steps, because I do grade the steps, not just the final answer. It's the process that's important, not just the answer. And if you go back to where I just got that, so if you look at, here's problem set number 1, and then I made a video with examples that are similar. Problem set number 2, and then examples that are similar. And if you have any questions with the problem sets, you can always email me or come to either the in-person office hours, or you could schedule a Zoom office hour. And with the podcast, like I said, you could just go to that YouTube channel, which is YouTube/Hartnell College Math, or there's links here for each and every one where you just watch the video and write down what I write down for those math problems. Okay, so if you also go over here to assignments, so the homework, so basically every Saturday morning, once your homework is supposed to be due on Friday, so every Saturday morning I go and I transfer the grades from MyMathLab to right here for homework. So with this, you don't have to do anything, I import your grade. And then the participation quizzes, so this is every Wednesday. These are already in here, so you would just click on participation quiz number 1. And some of these are going to be like, especially at the beginning, just, you know, like what's your major, just getting to know you, stuff like that. And then I do start to bring in some math questions with the participation quizzes. So, you know, one question might be, hey, how did you do on problem set number 1? Do you have any questions about the way that I graded it? Because once I grade the problem sets, you can open it and you can see my writing on there. And then if you have any questions, you can contact me. But sometimes I also ask that in the participation quiz. And then question 2 might be something like, okay, find the limit of this function and show your work. So those are the participation quizzes, which are due every Wednesday. And then for the problem sets, you would, like I say, write out your solutions. And then let me just go to the student view. Although, yeah. So right now it's actually August 20th and school doesn't start until August 26th. So it's not available yet, but it would just be, there would be a button right here that says start assignment, and then you just upload your work. All right, let me leave student view now. Okay, leave student view now. There we go. And there was something else I wanted to show you under assignments. So quiz grades, so if you see this in Canvas, this just means that when you're on My Math Lab, you did the quiz, and then I import your grade to quiz 1, quiz 2, etc. And then also with the podcast problems, you would just click on it, and it would then say start the assignment, and then you just upload your work. So your work does need to be a PDF. And if you're not sure about how to create a PDF, then just take a look at this link right here, how you can make a PDF with your phone, whether it's an Apple or a not Apple phone, whatever type of phone. It's actually another community college teacher that did that presentation, but it was so nice I just stole his video. So just take a look at that if you're not sure how to make a PDF. Okay, so now would be a good time to take a break because I'm going to go on and talk about the My Math Lab. So let's take a break. Okay, hopefully you paused it, took a break, and we're ready to go. Take a look at the syllabus. And like I said, grab this code right here, Perkins 897. I'll just copy it. I'm not going to remember it. All right, and then you can just Google up. Oh, there it is, My Math Lab. And it's Pearson. So long as it says Pearson, My Math Lab, it'll take you to the right place. And then go to the student access. It's going to say, are you using an LMS? Just say no. Thank you for visiting. We'd love to hear your feedback. No, thank you. And then I'm ready to register. So you need the course ID, which I just copied from the syllabus. You need an email address, and then a way to pay for it. Oh, and they even tell you right here, temporary access will be available for 14 days if you're not ready to buy. So when you get to that third step and they ask you to pay for it, you might want to use the temporary access to use it free for 2 weeks. So when you say you're ready to register, then you would put that code, the Perkins, there it is. And then it's going to say, okay, well, it recognizes me, so it wants me to sign in. And it's going to give you this option. One is you could pay $150. Don't do that. $90, yeah, do that. Do the cheaper version. So the cheaper version is $90 for the whole semester. And that does include the quizzes, the homework, as well as the textbook and other things that they have, which I'll show you in a minute. If you have basically a voucher from the bookstore, then you could use that access code. So that's where you would use access code right here. But I do want to show you, if you get it from the bookstore, it should look like this. So 15th edition, My Math Lab, the 18-week Thomas's Calculus. So it should say that for Math 3A. And of course, the bookstore is going to charge more than the $90. So they're bumping it up by $30. So I would only suggest you use the bookstore if you have a voucher there and basically they're going to, or financial aid is going to be paying for it. If you're going to be paying for it yourself, then just go ahead and use the $89.99. Okay, so once you do that, then you would be in the course, and okay, so now I need to log in my own account. All right, and then there's Math 3A. So you click on that, and I don't really pay attention to this home page. I just go over here to assignments. And then you'll notice that I even name them the same as the sections. So if I click back on Canvas and I look at section 2.1, 2.1, secant lines and velocity. So you would look at the notes, hopefully watch the video, and then come over here to do the homework. Section 2.1, secant lines and velocity. Now when you first start using the Pearson website, they are going to make sure that you don't block pop-ups, because watch, when I click on the homework question, it pops it up like this. Now, personally, I use Chrome, so if there is a pop-up blocker, then in the upper right-hand corner, it will have a little icon saying there's a pop-up blocker, and then you can just say allow pop-ups from Pearson, because all of their little homework questions do pop up like this. Okay, so you do get an unlimited number of attempts, which should say over here, attempts unlimited per question. So if you don't get it right, you can try it again and you can keep trying it. So if you look at my video, I did do an example very similar to this, but if you want more help, you can say get more help, and you could take a look at the textbook. And whenever I do use the textbook, I just open it and then I leave it open, because once it's open, you can go through it pretty quickly. So they have examples. So this is an example just like the one that we're working on. So they will try to take you to approximately the page that you're supposed to be looking at. And then they do have other things you can click on, like click on this example. Oh, so sometimes there's videos built in here. I don't see one right now, but some of the hyperlinks take you to videos. All right. You can also say ask my instructor. So if you need help from me on a question, please make sure you use ask my instructor. That way it sends me a copy of exactly what you were looking at. So if you and your friend were working on the exact same question, this one says 10 plus sine t. And then you look at your friend's screen and it's going to say 8 plus cosine t. So they do change it every time. So if you're going to ask a question, please make sure you use ask my instructor, because it will send me a copy of what you were looking at, and then you can put your question in here. Another thing that's really good about this Pearson is view an example. So what it'll do is it'll just change the numbers. So this one says 10 plus sine t. If I say view an example, it changes it to 3 plus cosine t. So it just changes it a little bit, and then it takes you through step by step how to solve the problem. Now, when I do this, and I actually do use this sometimes because students will ask me, why did they do this or how did they get that? So I do need to actually look at their steps and to explain to the student. So when I do, I use print, and it's not because I'm gonna print it, but it's because then it just shows me the whole thing and I don't have to do step, click, step, click. I can just open the whole thing and see their whole solution all at once. All right. There is, let me close this. There is something else I wanted to show you. So that's the homework questions. And when you get it wrong, so I'm going to say the answer is 56. Did I get it right? And it says no, and it tries to tell you this is the formula you're supposed to be using. So then you get to try it again. Maybe it's 8,886. Is that right? No, and so then you get to try it again. So you do get unlimited attempts. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to show you is the they relabeled this, the video and resource library. So with this, you would say, okay, right now I'm working on chapter 2, limits and continuity. I'm working on section 2.1. And then if you put select all, they will show you everything that they have for that particular section. So they can take you to the textbook. They've made like a 15-minute video or a 1.5-minute video. So whatever videos or PowerPoints or stuff that they've made, then so whatever they've made for that particular section, then you have access to all of that. All right, one last thing. If you go back to assignments, so there's the homeworks. And then when it comes to the quiz, you would then click on quiz number 1, which is going to cover these sections, 2.1 through 2.5. Just seems like it should be up by 1 row, but that's okay. That doesn't make any difference. So you would just click on the quiz and it would say, are you ready to start? I did not put a timer on this. The important thing though is once you start the quiz, you are allowed to walk away, but you do have to finish a question before you walk away. So if you do number 1 and number 2, you open number 3, and then you decide, I need to go get some food. Make sure you finish number 3 before you log out. So you finish number 3, you log out. When you log back in, it will give you question number 4. So you don't have to do it all at once. There's no time limit. It just has to be done by September 9th at 11:59 p.m. And then you do get 2 attempts on the quiz. You do have to do the whole quiz. And when I make up the homework questions, the Pearson says, okay, this should take students about 30 to 35 minutes to do the homework. And with the quiz, it should take about 55 minutes to an hour is what their estimate is. So if you go straight through, it would take an hour. If you want to take a break, that's fine. Just make sure you finish one question, and then you could log out and take a break. So once you finish the quiz and you got like, I don't know, you got 81%, you're like, man, I could do better than that. Well, then you get to try it again. And the other good thing is, basically they're just going to change the numbers. They don't really change the questions. So instead of it saying 10 plus sine t, it'll say 8 plus cosine t, but the questions will be very similar. Okay, so that's it. Please let me know if you have any questions,